So good evening and welcome to this meditation session. Sorry that we are late. We are having some internet issues in the meditation hall downstairs, so we came upstairs. So in this session, we will meditate on forgiveness. We will analyze together. First, we'll talk about what is forgiveness. We'll have some time to exchange also among ourselves our experience of forgiveness, our thoughts about forgiveness. So forgiveness is one of the 16 guidelines for a happy life. It is initially a text that was composed in Tibet by the king of Tibet in the 7th century. He was called Songtsen Gampo. But here, the Foundation for the Development of Compassion and Wisdom, which is one of the projects related to the FPMT, the Foundation for the Development of the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition, which Tushita is part of, is one of the 130 centers, projects, and services of the FPMT. And the Foundation for the Development of Compassion and Wisdom is one of them. It is the non-religious, the secular branch of the FPMT. So many years ago, they took this text by the 7th century king of Tibet and extracted only the non-religious, the secular inner values that we have and that we want to improve, that we want to develop. So forgiveness is one of them. So every week we are exploring a different inner quality together. So as usual, before we start, we'll first do a short settling meditation. Just to arrive here on the cushion, to arrive in front of our device at home, to calm the mind, to prepare the mind, to explore the topic together. So this will be about 5 minutes. Then I will introduce the topic, how the 16 guidelines present forgiveness. Then we can discuss for a few minutes among ourselves our experiences about forgiveness and our thoughts. Then we'll do the actual analytical guided meditation. We will explore forgiveness in different ways in a guided manner. And then after that, to conclude, we'll again have a time where we can exchange. And especially I'm interested in feedback, whatever impact this meditation has on you. And also if you have feedback on the format, because this is actually a pilot series of meditations. They are not officially publicly launched yet. They are being tested in 2 or 3 centers around the world. And next year, according to our feedback, they will be launched in all the centers. So let us start by finding a comfortable posture. As usual, the best is to sit on the floor. But if you're sitting on the chair at home, it is perfectly fine. Just make sure you're not leaning against the support of the chair and not leaning too much forward either. If you're sitting on the floor, you can simply cross your legs. You can try to sit in a full lotus posture if that is not too challenging. It might be a little bit difficult, so make sure you're sitting comfortably. Don't push your body. You can sit in half a lotus as well, or even Burmese style with one leg in front of the other. You can place your hands either on your knees or on your lap, palms up or down. That is whatever feels natural, whatever feels comfortable today. The most important is for your body to be upright, for your back to be straight, but naturally upright, not stiff. Even though the back is straight, the shoulders and the arms are relaxed. You can easily move your body from side to side without feeling a resistance or any stiffness. You can align your neck in the continuation of the spine, very slightly tilting the head forward, but not too much. You can place your tongue just behind the upper teeth towards the upper palate. This helps to reduce the production of saliva while you meditate. And finally, you can decide whether you want to lightly close your eyes or keep them slightly open, gazing in a space in front of you, about 1 or 2 meters cast down, in a way that avoids visual distractions. Don't pay attention. Just ignore whatever appears to your eyes. We are using the mental consciousness to meditate. So this is for the posture. Out of all these points, the most important is for the back to be straight, for the body to be upright. Now let us choose an object on which to meditate. If you are beginning with this kind of meditations, settling meditations or single pointed meditation or shamatha, calm abiding, what I would recommend is to use the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils as an object. Try to place all your attention there. You can perhaps observe as you breathe in, there is like a cooling sensation at the entrance of the nostrils. As you breathe out, perhaps it's a little bit warmer. Try to place all your attention on the breathing sensation. Now, what happens when we meditate is that we tend to get distracted. And there are two main ways in which we get distracted. The first one is called mental excitement. Basically, we are distracted with thoughts, mostly thinking about past, future. For example, thinking about dinner after this session or thinking about something that happened this afternoon. And therefore, we lose our object of meditation. We are distracted. The second way we tend to get distracted is called mental laxity, also called dullness or lethargy. Basically, we are not putting enough application in our meditation, and the mind starts to sink. We have this tendency to fall asleep, and therefore we also lose our object. No, we are starting to daydream. Now, the final thing to know for shamatha practice, for single pointed meditation, is that there are two antidotes that we need to use to counteract distraction. The first antidote is called introspection. It is a small part of our mind, the background, that is checking, what is my mind doing? Is it meditating? Is it focused on the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils? Or has it been distracted with thoughts or with lethargy? And the moment introspection notices that the mind is not focused on the object of meditation anymore, we make use of the second antidote, which is called mindfulness. And the role of mindfulness is to bring the mind back onto the object of meditation and making sure it remains on the object of meditation. An analogy that I like to use is that you can imagine if you have a pet dog at home and the dog runs away from home. Introspection will notice that the dog is gone, and mindfulness will bring the dog back home, and you can imagine tying him against a pillar so that he remains at home. It's a little bit similar to what we are trying to do with our mind. We are trying to concentrate on only one object without being distracted. Every time we are distracted, we try to notice it as soon as possible, and every time we notice we are distracted, then we apply mindfulness to come back to the object. So let us do this meditation for about 5 minutes. Okay, gently come out of the meditation. And now that we are hopefully a little bit more focused, let us check what is forgiveness. How can forgiveness help us? So I will briefly introduce the topic according to the 16 guidelines, and then we can take a few minutes to exchange among ourselves our experience, our thoughts about forgiveness. So the 16 guidelines say, forgiveness is the capacity to reclaim our peace of mind when something has happened to disturb us. As we go through life, it is inevitable that we are going to hurt one another. In fact, as our world becomes more complex and interconnected, the opportunities for conflict increase. We have the choice whether to respond to these hurts and conflicts with anger and bitterness or with forgiveness. Choosing to forgive is a powerful act of self-liberation. Making this choice is akin to underburning ourselves from a heavy weight we've been carrying. It is a conscious step away from a past full of negative feelings and towards a future where our psychological peace is not held hostage by others. Forgiving is not the same as forgetting. It does not mean that we gloss over the harm that has taken place or pretend that it had never happened. What it does is to allow us to let go of the destructive attitudes towards the past that imprison us and the person who harmed us in a cycle of recrimination and guilt. When our desire for reconciliation and peace is stronger than our anger, disappointment, or pain, then forgiveness offers the opportunity to make a new start. Forgiveness can seem unsurmountable and has vast consequences, but in essence, it is a shift of mind. The motivation to forgive has to come from a genuine wish deep inside to relieve the pain and discomfort of ourselves and of others. It cannot be forced. Forgiveness celebrates our capacity to love and reach out to someone else, whatever has happened to us. The more we forgive, the more we experience the benefits that forgiveness brings. We sleep better, we get our energy back, everyone feels lighter and happier. New levels of understanding, creativity, and an intimacy can arise. When we forgive, we are acknowledging that life is in flux, that relationships are complex and constantly changing, and that there is a wider perspective, which we may not be able to see for ourselves. What do you think is the relationship between forgiveness and happiness? Let us discuss a little bit um, whatever thoughts we have on forgiveness, whatever experience we have with it. Um, Anything that comes to your mind, we can share. On Zoom, you can simply unmute yourself and we will hear you here. And here, of course, just speak up. Do you see a relationship between forgiveness and happiness?
Is anyone there?
Yes.
Unmuting?
No, not at the moment. Would you mind just taking this so people can hear you online?
Um, There are three aspects to forgiveness which I wanted to mention here. One is if the person you can't forgive is sorry about what he or she did. If they are not sorry, it's very difficult to forgive that person. Second thing is if the person has died, it makes it a little easier to forgive that person, not fully, but at least partially. The third thing is if that person's acts have impacted somebody close to me, and I see that person suffering every day because of somebody's acts in the past, it's very difficult to forgive that person because the consequences of those acts are still visible to me. So, yes, I can forgive. In this case, it's my father. But every time I see how his acts have impacted others around me, I take that forgiveness back. So I have to constantly remind myself of what you said, that unless I release all those negative feelings, it will impact my own happiness. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to share about the difficulty of forgiving, especially when somebody is not sorry or has impacted our near and dear ones, our loved ones? Anybody online who would like to share something about forgiveness, your experiences or your thoughts? Please feel free to unmute yourselves. If not, then we can simply go ahead and do the analytical meditation, and then we'll have more time to exchange. So we are going to spend a little time exploring forgiveness in the form of a guided analytical meditation. So again, find a comfortable posture. Rest your hands either on your knees or in your lap, palms up or down, whatever feels natural and comfortable. The back naturally upright but not stiff. Arms and shoulders relaxed. The neck aligned in a continuation of the spine, slightly tilting the chin forward. You can choose whether you want to lightly close your eyes or keep them slightly open, gazing gently downwards, not paying attention to whatever appears in front of you. And now that you are comfortably seated, turn your attention to the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Start by taking 3 long, slow breaths, allowing the air to enter deeply so that the stomach rises and falls with each breath. Forgiveness is a deep and complex subject. Is it an outward gesture or an inner experience? Who benefits most from forgiveness? The person who's being forgiven or the person who is doing the forgiving? Is it always appropriate to forgive? Are there tools that can help us bring more forgiveness into the world? The 16 guidelines define forgiveness as the ability to let go of resentment and anger towards ourselves and others. Most of us share the experience that it's all too easy for human beings to hurt each other, either intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes it happens in small ways, and sometimes the hurt and pain are profound and lead to long-term feelings of anger and resentment. Let us try a small exercise, a small visualization to explore how to let go of any anger and resentment that we might hold within ourselves. Imagine that you are sitting in a nice, beautiful sunlight on the banks of a running stream. Above you is a clear and luminous blue sky. Stretching out all around you is a meadow of fresh green grass and small brightly colored flowers. The only sounds you can hear are the singing of birds and the noise of the stream. Allow your mind to settle and enjoy the sensation of sitting quietly and peacefully in this beautiful landscape. After a while, you begin to look at the stream in more detail. The water is very clear, but its progress is hindered by clusters of rocks, both large and small. The stream has to constantly divert and adapt itself so that it can flow around or over the rocks. Imagine that each of these rocks represents an incident in your life that you have been able to forgive or let go. The small rocks might represent a hurtful word or the experience of being belittled or left out. These might be incidents that were never intended to cause pain, but which you still remember from time to time and which have influenced your relationship with another person. The large rocks represent the deeper wounds that human beings bear, such as being abandoned, ridiculed, or betrayed. Each of these rocks represents whatever hurt, grudges, and anger you carry within you. Can you imagine being able to let go and move on? Would you like to let go of them? When you feel ready, lean over and pick up one of the smallest rocks in the stream and place it in front of you on the grass. Don't pick one of the large rocks, leave those for another time. Look at this small rock that you picked up quietly for a moment. Is there some minor hurt that you have received from someone and are ready to forgive? If so, imagine that this rock represents that hurt. Try to bring to mind a small harm that you have received and that you want to forgive. Imagine that this small rock represents that pain, that hurt. Think of the weight and heaviness of carrying this rock along with you and of how it affects the flowing water of your life. When you feel ready, bring into this peaceful landscape the person who was directly responsible for you experiencing this particular hurt. Allow them to stand quietly in front of you on the grass, in the meadow, under the clear and luminous blue sky. Reflect on how this person might not want this rock in their life either. They also want happiness and peace of mind, just as you do. Reflect on how painful it is for both of you to carry the burden of this old hurt. As much as you can, try to generate a warm feeling of kindness and caring towards that person. Focus on the other person's wish to be happy. And all these positive thoughts in your mind of warm heartedness, kindness, wishing others to be happy. Experience all these positive thoughts as a glowing white light in your heart. Try to visualize as best as you can all these positive thoughts in the form of a beautiful radiating glowing white light at your heart. And you are now going to exhale white light from your heart and send it to the person in front of you. Imagine that as soon as they inhale the white light, it transforms into whatever will bring them happiness and peace of mind. Visualize with your out breath, sending this beautiful white light from your heart. And when the person in front of you inhales, this white light transforms into whatever will make them happy. Now, in return, imagine inhaling all their unhappy, confused, or negative thoughts in the form of dark smoke. Now, there is nothing to fear from this dark smoke. It has no power, and as soon as it enters your body and reaches the light in your heart, the black smoke dissolves instantly. Just follow the rhythm of your breath and gently start to inhale the dark smoke and enjoy the sensation of it disappearing to nothing in the warm glow of your loving heart. Visualize as best as you can all the unhappy minds of that person in the form of black smoke, and you inhale it. And the moment it reaches inside your body, it is disappearing instantly into this beautiful white light at your heart. Now exhale the glowing white light once again to the person in front of you and inhale the dark smoke, watching it dissolve to nothing in the warm glow of your heart. Follow the natural rhythm of your breath. Exhale white light, inhale dark smoke, and watch the dark smoke dissolving to nothing in the warm glow of your loving heart. Exhale white light, inhale dark smoke, and watch the dark smoke dissolve to nothing in the warm glow of your loving heart. Do this naturally and easily for a while. Follow the natural rhythm of your breath. Now imagine that the needs and the wishes of the person in front of you are completely satisfied and that their mind is filled with peace and happiness. Imagine that they are bathed in light and that any difficulties between you have been completely eliminated. Let your mind rest in a feeling of joyfulness that you have been able to release both yourself and the other person from this painful situation. As the person disappears back where they came from, send them a wish. May this small visualization heal whatever problems have existed between us. You may then notice that the small rock that you put on the grass has completely dissolved and disappeared. Or you may choose to put the rock back into the river and return to it another time. After a while, you find yourself alone again in a beautiful, peaceful landscape under a clear and luminous blue sky. Forgiveness can be a long and difficult process, but it starts with ourselves in the warm glow of our loving hearts. If this small exercise has been useful to you, if you feel it has brought about any degree of openness and forgiveness, or perhaps even a sense of release, then from time to time you might choose to take your mind back to that beautiful and peaceful landscape and pick another small stone out of the stream. In time, you may eventually feel ready to lift the larger stones out of the water and to transform and dissolve them in the warm light of your loving heart. May the practice of forgiveness enrich your life and the lives of those around you. Now we can gently come out of the meditation. Slowly coming back to the room that you're in. Slowly opening the eyes. And now again we have some time to exchange among ourselves, especially to share feedback on whatever arose from this meditation, if anything at all. If this meditation has been any helpful, any useful, but feel free to also share feedback that, this meditation, you were not able to do it, or, anything like that. Was it easy for you to send love to that person? Was it easy to breathe in their unhappy states of mind? And what was easier, giving or taking? Any feedback is most welcome, so you can simply unmute yourself on Zoom, and here, of course, feel free to speak up, feel free to share. Usually people are very, chatty about these meditations, and I don't know what's happening today.
In my I quite liked this exercise, and only thing in my case, I chose a case where the other person doesn't realize they've hurt me. So it was easy for me to forgive. Um, in fact, very easy. So it was a nice way to experience that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, maybe the people who have hurt us and they don't feel sorry.
They don't know.
They don't, but maybe the people who know, but they don't feel sorry and it's more difficult to forgive. Maybe there are the larger rocks that we can try another time. Anybody online would like to say something? Please feel free to unmute yourself on Zoom and share your feedback. Yes, please go ahead.
You see, there's a difference between forgiving and looking for justice. I mean, you can forgive, but there is still the need to have justice done. So there's a kind of a confusing line there.
Yes, here the forgiveness we're talking about is, to let go of resentment for our own peace of mind. But it's not about going out in the world and fixing, injustice or other things.
No, what I meant was, for example, uh, you may forgive from inside your heart that, okay, I forgive this guy. He's got his own problems or whatever it was. But the fact is that what he is doing needs to be stopped. A.
Mm.
B. He needs to be punished enough so that other people can also, uh, learn from that. Otherwise, you have the whole social fabric collapsing.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought.
That's what I mentioned, the impact of those person's acts. You see it regularly, and so you can't forgive.
Mm.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, here she's saying it's difficult to forgive because you keep on seeing the impact of whatever that person has done. But here is also about, what he was saying, to make that person not commit that action again in the future. No.
Like supposing someone has cheated you of money,
Yes.
he will go and cheat somebody else of money.
Yes. Somebody who
That's
cheats on
terrible.
money, then they will keep on doing that. No, if they are not. Yeah. Yeah.
Or who has stolen something from you and then he's going and
Yes.
stealing something from somebody else.
Mm. Yeah. Indeed, these are, I think, different things.
Complicated.
Forgiveness and justice. Um, because of course, if we can, it's good, when somebody does something that is inappropriate, something that is not virtuous. That's gonna, if we can tell them, that stealing or lying or cheating, for example, it will also hurt them in the future. Maybe they only see the small, short-term benefit of stealing something, for example. But what they don't see, what they don't realize, is that the karmic consequences of that are huge. Just stealing a small thing, in the future, somebody will steal something much bigger from you. So, of course, whenever we see something like that with an attitude of love, we can inform that person about their actions and the consequences of them. But if we hold a grudge, if we hold resentment, then we are unnecessarily disturbing our minds, no?
So, what in effect you're saying is that forgiveness is essentially a very personalized thing which is inside a person, and it's not necessarily connected with, the outer expression of, you know, the right course of action.
Mm. Yeah, it's personal.
Letting go.
Letting go. Yeah, it's a personal way of letting go, not carrying unnecessary burdens with us through life. Somebody maybe said something that hurt us, somebody did something that hurt us. So instead of feeling bad, I have been hurt, try to let go of that, not carrying this unpeaceful state of mind with us.
Um, I agree. I mean, that's quite right. So the internal resentment and all must go, yes, which still doesn't take away from the fact that you may be quite often duty bound to pursue retribution.
It's long as that retribution achieves something, if it is not going to achieve anything and just give him a headache, it's of no use.
Here she's saying it's of no use, no? If that retribution is not going to bring you something, yeah, it's not going to achieve anything. Yeah, it's a very interesting topic.
May I ask you if you have a separate email or a separate WhatsApp? Well, I'm not getting any information about your recordings and this thing. My daughter is forwarding them to me. So and I wrote to Tushita, said that nothing seemed to have happened. So if you have a separate WhatsApp or separate mail, then
We have a
I'd be glad
we
to.
have a we have a WhatsApp group where you receive all the recordings and all the updates about our events. So to join that group, you can simply go to tushitadeli.com with your phone. You type tushitadeli.com, and towards the bottom of the page, there is a link that says join our WhatsApp group. When you click on that, it will open WhatsApp, and then you can join the group from there. And there you will receive all the updates about Tushita.
I did that, and I get intimations from all kinds of other groups, which I'm not interested in at the moment. I just like to focus on these 16 points that
Oh, I
are
see.
coming up. Yeah.
Oh, I
So
see.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be, having all kinds of intimations.
Okay, I see. So we don't have a specific group for the 16 guidelines. We have a
Oh,
group for all the Tushita activities.
It's on the
oh,
calendar.
I see.
Otherwise, yeah,
We can follow the
what
calendar.
she's saying is that on our website, also we have a calendar. So you can click on that calendar and see when is the next meditation session of the 16 guidelines there. Usually it's on Mondays, but sometimes it falls on a Tuesday. So if you go to tushitadeli.com and you click on events calendar, I think it's called, or agenda, maybe something like that, calendar. There you have like a monthly view of the activities that are happening here at Tushita, and then you can look whatever is of interest to you without getting the notifications.
There's the online, there's one more thing. Very few.
Okay, I'll try it again. Thank you.
But yeah, we don't have a specific email list or WhatsApp group just for the 16 guidelines. It's for all the Tushita activities. Yeah. Anybody else online would like to share something about forgiveness? Otherwise, what we can do now is to take a moment to dedicate um, so we will dedicate the positive energy that we might have accumulated in this session and whatever understanding we got from this session. And throughout the coming week, let us try to think of ways we can bring forgiveness into our daily lives. And next week, I think it's also Monday next week, we will meditate on gratitude. So let us dedicate whatever positive energy from this session for those who are ill, either mentally or physically, for all of them to have a good health. To those who are hungry or thirsty, to have food and drink. To those who are being harmed by violence, war, conflict, to be at peace. And to those who don't have a home, to have a shelter and be safe. To those who are challenged with loneliness, disharmony, or financial pressures, to end their worries and increase their happiness. And let us try to think for a moment how wonderful it would be if everyone in the room, everyone on Zoom, everyone in the country, and everyone in the world were to reach their potential. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining online, for coming at the center. And we will see you tomorrow evening at 6:30. We have a medicine Buddha Puja, especially beneficial if you have people around you who are suffering from any sickness or recently passed away or are having obstacles in their lives. So this puja is really beneficial for that. Or if you yourself have any disease or obstacles. So this is tomorrow at 6:30 online and in person as well. And then we carry on with our morning meditations, at the moment happening only on Zoom, but from not too sure when, we have a new resident volunteer who is coming to Tushita, and she will be leading meditations in the morning in person as well. So we'll inform you whenever that starts, hopefully in the coming days. It's not confirmed 100% yet, so yeah, we'll let you know. It's only half an hour here. Yes, yes, yeah. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night. See you soon.